So when I originally bought this car beforehand, I was looking up some videos, and there are a very limited amount of videos on specific stuff with this car. I mean, there's tons of information out there, but when it comes down to installation, repair, there are very limited instructional videos or anything like that, or just information in general on specifics. Um, One of the things I tried looking up today is these reinforcement plates that I bought, just out of curiosity if somebody had a video out there, and I didn't see one. So we're gonna make a video on this. Not to say that there's an information. I know there's forums where people talk about this stuff, where if you go to like a bigger sway bar, it'll end up pulling out the brackets, essentially, the threads or something like that, or maybe from the frame. I actually think it cracks the frame. So that's what this is supposed to be for. It reinforces it. And this is where your sway bar gets mounted to on this bottom side, and this wraps around the frame. You weld it in place, and that's it. It's actually really simple, but the more information, the better. Sometimes stuff like this, somebody may come across and be like, oh man, that's a common problem. I didn't realize that. Maybe I'll look into it. These plates are really cheap too, and there's not much to it. It's two holes and just this plate that's bent. I did have to work it a little bit. You can see the frame kind of steps down, gets a little bit narrower right here, so I kind of hammered that a little bit to get that to wrap properly on both sides. So there's really not much to this. All I did, I can go over the process. I sanded this down with 46 grit, and I coated this inside with Steelit, and I did the same with the frame. So this will get bolted right here, and then get welded around. We'll have some steel on the inside, and hopefully that'll protect any corrosion. And when this gets welded down the road, whenever I do paint and everything, seam sealer is going to go all the way around this too. Another thing I did was I chamfered all the edges. So we ground them down essentially to a point. And that way we could get a better weld. It'll actually it'll penetrate it better, and it'll actually sink inside and grab more into the metal basically. So yeah, we got this side bolted up right now with just two bolts holding it in place. I centered it with the holes, and that's going to keep it where I want it, and then I'll go around, and most likely I'm going to do series of welds. I don't think I'm going to completely weld this in, so we'll do probably one here, and then some across, and then essentially do that all the way around with some space in between, and then we'll go back through and seam seal everything. Alright, so just to recap everything I did with these plates, we cleaned them up on the inside. We put Steelit epoxy primer and top coat on them. Did both sides, of course. Cleaned up the frame rail. Got everything down to bare metal where I'm going to weld. Cleaned up with acetone, and that is it. Very simple. Just bolted them in place using just two random bolts that fit. That'll keep it where it needs to be at as we weld it. And then I'm going to clamp this like I have it here, weld it, move it to that side, and do the same. So before I do that, we are going to switch to some 30 thousandths wire. I'm going to do a few welds from top and bottom, and then I'm going to wrap around this corner, and then probably do down to here, a couple in the middle, and then do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so there it is. That's pretty much it. Most likely I'm going to add a few more on the middle on each end, and then I still have to do the back side, but that's pretty much it. So that's where the sway bar gets bolted up to. So now with this plate, these bolts will come out, and your sway bar would just mount straight to that, and it reinforces this frame rail for this entire area. I think on this side I might try to TIG weld this and get some TIG welding practice in. Not bad though. I'm happy with it. Alright, so if you guys want to buy a set of your own, I'll put the link in the description, and have at it.